I'm just admitting them. We can still hear me? Okay. Perfect. So today is special. I added an extra presentation because tomorrow is the holiday of Bishvat, and I just thought it was a fun way for us to get ready for the holiday, but also just to be together because we can't be at the synagogues, we can't, have parties, we can't get together with our family. Then this way, we're all getting together ourselves and having a good time. So I'm going to be flipping between screens. I have this view is going to be when you guys are going to see me and when I'm going to talk and tell you a little bit more about the holiday. And then when I'm going to want to show you what I'm doing, I'm going to be pinning another camera that I have, and I'll show you actually the counter and what I'm doing at that time. So we're going to be going between those two screens, which I think is easier because when we're trying to put everything in one screen, you or see me a little bit more or you see me with the head cut. And that way it's a better view. So there we go. So today we're going to do a few things actually. I'm just going to tell you a little bit of how it's going to go. We're going to prep a beautiful salad that's going to be featuring ingredients that are part of the 7 species that we use on Bishvat. We're also going to be preparing some fruit kebabs that I think the kids are going to find fun to eat and very beautiful to present on the table. And I'm also going to show you how to make fruit and cheese and cracker grazing board so that it could display all of the ingredients and items that we're going to be doing the prayers on and when you're going to be doing your Seder. And it's also going to get you guys ready for tomorrow or to know how to put together a board. And when I'm going to be preparing, I'm going to be flipping and you're going to actually see me doing it live and you're going to see my counter. I wanted to start with talking a little bit about the holiday of Tu Bishvat. Growing up and going to a Jewish school, it was very typical for us once a year to be planting a tree in Israel around this time of the year. So there's several ways that you can actually participate and enjoy the holiday of Tu Bishvat. Here, obviously, in Montreal or in Canada, it's quite cold outside and there's snow. And it's hard to think that it's the renewal of the trees and the flowers and the fruits because we don't really see them. Our streets and our trees are bare and they don't bear the fruits right now. But in Israel, it's the time of the year where the fruits start to bring their first flowers and their first fruits. And we used to, at the time when the kids were in school and when we were in school, plant a tree in Israel to mark the occasion of Tu Bishvat. And we're talking with some people that live in Israel, so family of mine, uncles, aunts, and cousins. They still do this every year. So Tu Bishvat in Israel is marked by not only starting by planting trees so that there could be continual growth and continual sort of blooming in Israel, and so that the trees, which take many years, I guess, to grow, can bear fruits for the generations to come. But they also, besides planting trees, a lot of the Israelis do a picnic and a barbecue outdoors. It's very typical around this time of the year to actually see families going out for picnicking and for barbecue. And most of them eat the fruits that are talked about in the Bible and that we're going to be showcasing today. So the seven items that are showcased during Tu Bishvat. But it's also very important to give to the poor during the holiday of Tu Bishvat. And we do that by doing tzedakah or by offering a meal to families that are in need. So a lot of the time during Tu Bishvat, besides planting trees in schools and in grocery stores in Israel and here, we see a lot of food drives. So food bank drives, which if we were together and in person in different synagogues and in different institutions, you would see a lot of boxes for food drives next to synagogue sanctuaries or chapels, and then people would be dropping off a couple of weeks or 3 weeks before the Tu Bishvat holiday, because it's a appropriate time to give tzedakah or to give food to the poor. Here in Canada, we do a little bit of the same things that we do in Israel besides picnicking and barbecuing outdoors. You're not going to see us camping outside with our picnics on Tu Bishvat, but we are going to be, we can still participate in the mitzvah of planting a tree by doing it through JNF. And we can also be participating in the mitzvah of Matanot La'Evyonim, so giving to the poor, and preparing a beautiful table for Tu Bishvat and doing the blessings and doing the Seder. So very common in Jewish holidays that we prepare a Seder. So Seder is like an order, but it's sort of a way for us to go one after the other with items and with foods and bless them and thank God for what we have on the table, because we are always grateful, but we always realize that what we have and that what we get is from above, where we know the source of all of our blessings and all of our everything that we have, our health and our prosperity and everything that we have around. We have to thank God for it. And that's what we do every time when we bless the food and when we do the blessings. So I want to show you a little bit to begin with the 7 items that we're going to be talking a lot today about. I have a little box here, which those of you that are joining me that are part of our synagogue, the Spanish and Portuguese congregation, and participate in our ongoing events, whether they be virtual right now or in person, we try to highlight and do something fun during the holidays or before or during. This time for Tu Bishvat, everybody that is going to be participating in our virtual event has had the opportunity to order their box. If not, everything that's in the box, a lot of us have in our house or can get before tomorrow. And even if you did not order your box, I'm just going to show you a little bit what's inside, but it's mostly to talk about the 7 items. So everything we're going to be blessing or eating on Tu Bishvat are fruits and ingredients that are mentioned in the Torah. That's the importance of them. And we have 7 that are repeated throughout the Bible and at several times, and talk about their importance. The first item on the Seder is wheat. And the wheat is sort of represents intelligence and material success. And the second item is barley. The barley represents shalom bayit, or peace in the house. The third item is olives. And olives is associated to having righteous children or good children with good values. And the fourth item is date, and date is for health. And the fifth item is grapes. A lot of it is associated to finding a soulmate. So they're bishert. Six is fig, and fig is to acquire patience, because we all know that it's a very important virtue that we continue our whole life to try to achieve. And the seventh item is pomegranate, and that's to protect one's mouth from gossiping. And we all know that in our Jewish faith, that's something that's very important, not to make sure that we use our words and our mouth carefully, because there's an important saying that says, once it comes out of your mouth, you can no longer take it back. It's just out there. And now, when we do the blessings on those items, besides following the Seder, which Rabbi Maimon Pinto and Cantor Daniel Benlolo will be doing a live Zoom, which I believe is going to be streamed on Facebook Live as well. But they're going to do a Zoom tomorrow night at 7 for the actual Seder. All of you are welcome to join the Zoom. That's mostly going to be more for the actual order, prayers, and the actual holiday celebration. The purpose for today, besides highlighting the 7 ingredients, but besides also talking about the holiday of Tu Bishvat, is to tell you that tomorrow you'll be able to attend the Zoom and actually celebrate with us in your own home, but celebrate with us the holiday of Tu Bishvat if you participate in our Seder. So we'll be at home, we'll be set up, we'll have all of our ingredients. Whether you use the ones that you're receiving or whether you're going to use what you're going to prepare at home, that's what's going to happen tomorrow night at 7. Today, we're going to be starting with a few things that take a few minutes of prep, and we're going to put them aside. And as we go along, we're going to put together the different items. So again, for those of you who are just joining us or who missed the beginning, we're going to be making a bulgur salad. I chose bulgur because it's faster to prepare, doesn't require cooking over the stove. This salad, though, very tasty and can easily be done with barley. And barley being one of the 7 items that we are going to be featuring in the Tu Bishvat Seder, would be very appropriate for you guys to use as well, or substitute barley for the bulgur that we're using today. But I chose barley because barley, you just have to rinse it and soak it in boiling water. I'm going to show you what it looks like. It's called, for those of you who are not familiar with bulgur, it's cracked wheat. So as you can see, it's like not too fine. It resembles a little bit of a more tan looking kind of couscous, but it's cracked wheat. So it's like, when we do the dafina and we use the blé, the wheat, this is sort of a cracked version of it, or a cut up version of it. Smaller pieces, it's not the whole grain. And the beauty of this one is that you can put it in a bowl and pour boiling water over it, like if you were doing an instant couscous, and you leave it to sit for 10-15 minutes, and then you fluff it with the fork, which we're going to do together, and it's ready. So for the purpose of today's presentation, wheat anyways is one of our ingredients that we have in our Seder and in the blessings that we're going to do for Tu Bishvat. So very appropriate. But the reason why, if you have time, it would be great to do this salad with with bulgur is because wheat, we can find several things to put on our board or on our table with wheat. We can put bread, we can put crackers, we can put sticks, we can put several things that contain wheat and flour. But bulgur is a bit limited in what we can do and what we can serve with it. That's why I say that if you guys have a chance, do it with bulgur in your house. Now, I pre-cooked before we started the demonstration. I cooked barley. So I used pearl barley, and I'm going to show you what that looks like. It does take, or it does require cooking over the stove and with constant supervision, because it absorbs a lot of the water, and you need to add water and you need to stir so it doesn't stick. But I use pearl barley, and the pearl barley is a little bit lighter color than the wheat that we normally put in the dafina, and super tasty and very great grain to consume in our diet. When cooked, this is half a cup, believe it or not, half a cup of raw, uncooked barley gives you a whole bowl like that. So it took me about, I would say, 30, 40 minutes on the stove, adding water gently, boiling, cooking it to get to this. And then after that, you strain it and you rinse it, because it does make the water a bit filmy, like cloudy. And so rinse it so you have nice little grains and nice little bowls. So I'm going to show you what we can do with this as well. But we're going to start by prepping our bulgur, or cracked wheat. And I'm actually going to switch now and show you my counter or my other setup. What I'm doing is I'm boiling some water, and I'm going to pin, hopefully, if one of you would like to send me a quick message and let me know if on your screen you see my counter now, or even give me a hands up. Yeah, we're good. So right now you should be seeing my counter. Well, if you don't see my counter, that's because maybe you pinned yourself on your computer my other view, my khazan. But remove the pin that you put on your computer. And if you have it speaker view on your Zoom, you should be seeing my counter. So do not pin anything on your Zoom, and you should be able to see what I'm doing right now. So again, I'm just going to show you if you were doing barley, then this is what it looks like, raw and cooked. If you are using bulgur, then this is what it looks like raw. It's called cracked wheat, and we're going to prep it. So the recipe, again, I don't know if everybody has the recipe. It's if you gave me your emails last week, I sent you the link to go to the Spanish and Portuguese website. On the Spanish and Portuguese website, you should be able to click on the front page is going to be featuring all of my events and all of my flyers, and you'll have the link that will lead you to the recipe. But if not, I'm going to go slowly and I'm going to tell you what we're going to be using, and you can take some notes. Rose, I know that you were having difficulty at the beginning in terms of seeing the screen. Did you unpin and are you able to see? Give me a thumbs up if you're able to see the counter. Perfect. So we're going to start with 1.5 cup of bulgur. If I were using barley, I would be using only half a cup, because you could see that half a cup made me a lot of barley. But because this is smaller and doesn't puff up as much, I'm going to use 1.5. I'm just looking for my measuring cup. That's okay. I'm just going to use this one, which is half, and I'm going to put. So I have a clean bowl. It just needs to be a bowl that is resistant to heat, because I'm going to pour boiling water in it. So I'm going to put 1.5 cup of bulgur. I'm going to rinse it. Give me a second, guys. I rinse it, and I'm going to put about 2 cups of boiling water. Just trying to admit a couple more people to the Zoom chat. Okay. So I've boiled some water, and I'm going to add 2 cups of boiling water. Again, the bulgur doesn't need any cooking. All it needs is the boiling water, and we're going to let it sit 10-15 minutes. We're going to let it sit 10-15 minutes, and then after that, we're going to fluff it. I'm just going to stir so it doesn't clump up inside the bowl and in the boiling water. So as you can see, it's about, I would say, about 1 inch or half an inch above the of water above the bulgur. So I'm just going to put that on the side, and we're going to let it do its thing. Now, because I prepped a few items to show you another option with the barley, I'm going to talk to you about a salad that I'll be preparing for the Seder. Now, this one can be served or room temperature, or it could be served warm. It could actually be served, for those of you that are vegetarian or limiting the amount of meat that you eat, it could be served, what did I want to say? It could be served as a main course. For those of you who eat meat and chicken or fish and would like it as a side dish, it's perfect as a side dish. But if you want to do it as a salad, you can serve it room temperature. And so either way, as a main course, a vegetarian main course, or a side dish to a fish, meat, or chicken, or a salad, it's very versatile. So what I did today in preparation for today, I roasted half a butternut squash that I peeled and cubed. So the pieces were a little bit bigger before I roasted it, but as you can see, it shrinks a little bit when it's in the oven. I actually placed the cubed butternut squash in a bowl. And in the bowl, I put a little bit of olive oil, salt, pepper, and garlic powder. That's all. So you just sprinkle, I would say about 2 tablespoons of 1 to 2 tablespoons of olive oil, a bit of salt to taste, garlic powder, and a bit of cracked pepper. And I baked it in the oven at 350 for about 30 minutes, because the pieces are not too big. I mean, the butternut squash does require longer time than other vegetables, because when it's not tender, it's a bit bitter. So you want it to get to this point so that it's soft, and all the juices and the sweetness and the sugar is sort of enhanced. All the flavors is enhanced with the roasting. What I did as well is I roasted some cauliflower, and I'm going to show you. I'm going to just go get them. So there we go. I took a small head of cauliflower. I cut it up in flowers, and I washed it well and soaked it and drained it. And then I seasoned it in a bowl before putting it on the cookie sheet or baking sheet. And what I put in the cauliflower is I put, again, a drizzle of olive oil. I put half a teaspoon of turmeric, and I put half a teaspoon of some kind of chili flake. I have more of a pepper flake. I'm going to show you. It's from Israel. It's more like a paprika flake, but you can put chili flake easily. And I put 1 teaspoon of cumin, and I put salt and pepper to taste. When I had all of this in the bowl, I mixed everything very well. I put it on the baking sheet with the parchment paper, and I roasted it for about, I would say, 15 minutes, because cauliflower cooks much faster than the squash. It's delicious. Actually, you could just eat it like that. It's really yummy. But we're going to be preparing it with the barley, and that's going to be just a way to feature this ingredient that is part of the Tu Bishvat Seder. So again, I have my roasted cauliflower. I have my roasted butternut squash, the barley that I pre-cooked. This is 1.5 cup of half a cup of barley. It gives you about 1.5 cup of cooked barley. And all I did is I boiled it with water. And every time I added water, because it does need several addition of water to be able to cook it properly until it's tender, then I strained it and rinsed it so that it takes away the milky kind of filmed water that comes out of it. So now we're going to assemble. We're going to put them in a bowl, and I'm going to be chopping some fresh parsley and adding some almonds and pomegranate and a few other seasoning in it. So I'm just going to get a bowl. The beauty of a small kitchen is I can't have everything out, or else we would not be able to see anything. So just give me a second to get a bowl, and we're going to assemble all of this. So you want to have a fairly large bowl because there's going to be a lot of ingredients. The reason why you want to have a fairly large bowl as well, you don't want anything to be too crowded, but you want to also be able to set it up properly. So we're going to start by putting the barley in the bowl. Okay. And that's going to be the base of my salad. I'm just going to show you how to set it up, but before you're going to serve it, you're going to want to mix it up, okay? But right now, the base of my salad is the barley. Now, this recipe is not on the website, but if a lot of people are going to want to me to write it up and add it to the website, I can do that this week very easily. Try to take some notes, but if not, I'll post the recipe shortly. So we're going to be adding as well the butternut squash and the roasted cauliflower. Let me start with the butternut squash. I like to add the juices or the oils that come out when you roast the actual vegetable. I can see the questions on Zoom, and if anybody is watching me from Facebook and would rather join our Zoom, our Zoom ID is 914-650-9809. I repeat, 914-650-9809. Not too late to join. There's no password. And if not, then you can continue watching it streaming from YouTube or Facebook. So right now, as you can see, I have the barley, the small head of cauliflower roasted, the butternut squash, and I'm now going to prep the other ingredients. Okay, so it calls for parsley. And it calls for green onion. There we go. It calls for two green onion that we're going to chop finely. Let me just rinse them. Okay. Fire up any questions if you have as we go along on Zoom. And if you're on Facebook Live or YouTube Live, I'll be able to see your comments after the demonstration. And if I haven't answered your questions, then I'll send them off afterwards. I'll try to answer everybody afterwards. So chop two green onions finely, put them on top of the vegetable. Everything's going to be stirred after, so don't worry. Okay, then we're going to do some parsley. So chopped fine. I would say this is about a quarter cup of fresh parsley chopped up. Okay, so there we go. And besides the bulgur, that's one of the ingredients in the Seder, or one of the items that is featured in the Bishvat Seder, we're going to add pomegranates. I just find it's very beautiful in terms of adding color, but it also complements cauliflower very, very well. So, and also because the grains of the pomegranate sort of resembles in terms of size from the barley, when you're taking a bite, it's really, really nice. So as you can see, it's beautiful colors already, very appetizing when you just trying to give you a good view. We're going to mix it and we're going to add a little bit of the flavoring. So because the vegetables are already very well seasoned, just admitting a couple more people. Okay, so because we have the vegetables that are nicely seasoned, we don't really have to put too much or add too much to this salad. I'm going to add a little bit of olive oil, about 2 tablespoons. I'm going to add some, Where is my salt? I'm going to add a bit of salt. I would say, I always say salt to taste because everybody's taste buds is different, but I'm not adding too much because the roasted vegetables already have salt and the squash as well. I'm going to add some fresh cracked pepper, and I'm going to add lemon juice. Now, if you're serving this as a main course or as a side dish, you can omit the lemon juice. I'm going to be adding it because I'm going to serve it as a salad. And again, you can use fresh squeezed lemon juice. And I added about, I would say, a teaspoon. So I'm mixing everything. It's actually beautiful. The colors are exquisite. There's orange with the squash. There's yellow with the cauliflower, red with the pomegranates. I always like to add a little bit more at the end of sprinkles. And now I'm going to add some sliced almonds. So towards the end, when you want to serve the salad, take about a handful of, of sliced almonds, sprinkle the top, and there you go. Barley and roasted vegetable salad in honor of to Bishvat. Beautiful. I love it. Actually, I always say you eat with your eyes first before putting it in your mouth. And actually, by looking at this, I am very satisfied. It's beautiful and appealing to the eyes, but also very appealing when you look at it. So again, it didn't take much time. Most of the prep was just to actually cut up and roast the vegetables and prepare the barley, but just to assemble. And for those of you that are have any nut allergy, omit the almonds. If you guys don't like any of the items or you want to substitute, instead of cauliflower, you want to put broccoli, or instead of squash, you want to put some zucchinis. I mean, this is very easy salad to actually put. And also sometimes we just want to, use up what we have in our fridge or on our counter. And this is a very easy way to do it. So I'm going to be putting it on the side, and we're going to start with doing something else. So I just want to show you right now, back to the bulgur. Look how beautiful it is. As you can see, there's barely little water. I still feel there's a bit of water. Sometimes you need to strain it a little bit if you have some water left. But I'm actually just going to taste a little bit of it to make sure that it's the consistency that I like. I still want to leave it a little bit to soak. So I'm going to give it another, I would say another 5 minutes. But it's, as you can see, I'm going to compare it with the raw version. But it's already looking very different. So if you can see on the screen, sorry. So as you can see, it's lighter in color, bigger in texture, and already getting tender and looking, it looks like I said, a couscous grain. But when you bite into it, it has more of a chewy bite. Okay. So there we go. I'm going to put this away. And I'm going to move this. And we're going to start with something else because, like I said, I want this to be soaking 5 more minutes. So, and I'm going to move this for now because we're going to need it afterwards for the bulgur salad. But right now, we're going to move to the fruit kebabs. So again, Always looking for fun ways. And again, I'm going to probably pin myself. No. There. Okay. So you guys can see me now? Okay. So what we're going to do now is before we go to the bulgur salad, we're going to leave that on the side a few minutes and we're going to prep our fruit kebabs. So the first reason why I want to do fruit kebabs, not so much to feature the actual fruits from the Seder, but because it's fun for the kids to actually hold it in their hands and eat it that way. Even for some of us that don't have kids at home, it's just a fun way to eat a bit more fruits when it's in the, big sort of watermelon and melon stage, and we don't cut it up. We just are, we end up or spoiling it or having it when it's too late. But this way, when it's cut up and it's in bite-sized pieces, it's more fun and we tend to eat our fruits. So today, for the sake of what I was able to find in the store, because it's not spring and not summer and I'm limited, I have a melon. I found a small watermelon. I have strawberries that I washed and I'm just going to remove the head. And I also have blueberries and blackberries. Okay. Now, I also have pineapple. Not sure if I'll use it in the skewers today, but for sure we'll cut it up for the holiday. But feel free to add the vegetables or the fruits that you have in hand. I'm just going to get my skewers and we're going to go from there. I'm just going to show you a few. We're going to practice together. I'm going to actually now pin my counter. There you go. So can you see now my setup? Give me a thumbs up if you can see my setup. Perfect. So let me just get myself, I'm going to get a plate. That's easier. Or actually, I'm going to do it on this. Okay, so you can have those fancier kind of skewers, but I also have the ones that are more popular and that you can find more easily are those ones. They come in two different sizes. This is sort of like a medium size, and it comes also in a much longer size. This is, I guess, in terms of display, it's also very pretty because you put just a few fruits. But the goal is just to alternate between the types of fruits that you have. I'm just going to get a knife. My strawberries are washed and soaked, but I just didn't take the head. I didn't want them to get ruined. So there you go. Very beautiful and very easy. So this is the first kind of look. Now, if you're using the longer one, you can actually put a lot more on the skewer. There you go. So as you can see, very, very nice. I call it my rainbow kind of skewer. If I had even a piece of banana or a piece of pineapple here, it would add some colors. For today, though, I'm not going to cut the banana. I'll tell you why, because I'm going to prep, because I have all my fruits already cut up. I'm going to prep my skewers for tomorrow's Seder for the holiday. And I don't want to put any fruit that is going to get brown or not stay fresh for tomorrow. So I'll avoid putting the bananas or other fruits on there. But if you're doing it just before your Seder, and if you're just assembling it, feel free to prep, those fruits that stay in the fridge. Prep them already like that, put them in the fridge covered, and tomorrow all you have to do is assemble. I can do one with only berries. So I'll do another one and show you how it looks with the smaller skewer and only with berries, which is beautiful, as you can see. So different kind of ways to actually display the fruit. And the beauty of it is when you bring it to the table, it's pretty. Better than I find putting a bowl of cut up fruit. It's fun as well for the kids to just take that and put it in their mouth and eat it. And for us as well, just shows your family and your loved ones that you put a little bit more time to prepare something beautiful for them to have. And also in honor of the holiday, we want to showcase some beautiful items on our table and make it pretty, because we're honoring God and at the same time and showing him, how grateful we are for everything that we have. So as you can see, this is not too difficult, but we're going to enhance it even more. So not only did we not put it just in a bowl, we prepared it in beautiful skewers, but I'm going to show you how to make a chocolate sauce. And for those of us that love chocolate, we're going to be able to take our fruits and dip them in the chocolate and eat if we like. So I'm going to use Toblerone, so chocolate that has a little bit of nougat in it. When it melts, it's even funner, or very tasty in your mouth when you're dipping the fruits. But feel free to use any type of chocolate, whether it's dark chocolate or milk chocolate. I know a lot of people, when they're preparing boards and when they're preparing display for Tu Bishvat, what they do is they prepare a small bowl of dark chocolate sauce, a small bowl of milk chocolate, and a small bowl of white chocolate. And people get to choose which sauce they would like. So if you have the time and you have the ingredients at home, feel free to be creative and do something fun. So the way that I would display it, whether you put it fancy and then on the side you put your sauce, I'm going to show you. We're going to prepare the chocolate sauce now, but continue with assembling your fruit skewers and filling your platter, whichever one you're using. I'm just going to put it on the side right now. And I'm going to get my Toblerone and show you what I do. This is a very simple and easy recipe. Doesn't even require any measurement. So I'm going to use today some coconut oil and Toblerone. Coconut oil, I'm just going to put a little bit in the bowl when I'm going to be melting my chocolate. It's going to help consistency when the chocolate melts and give it a little bit more of a silky kind of result at the end. Okay, so I'm going to cut up the chocolate in the bowl in small pieces. I don't have any questions yet, so I hope everyone is enjoying the presentation and taking notes. Feel free to just say hi so I know who's on. Okay. So obviously, if you're going to be serving a meat meal tomorrow for the holiday, do parve chocolate when you're melting it. I'm going to be doing a dairy meal, so that's why I'm doing a milk chocolate. Okay, so in the bowl with my chocolate, I'm going to put about a teaspoon of coconut oil. And the way that you do it, well, I'm going to be using microwave today because it's easier for the presentation, but feel free to do it on a bain-marie on top of a pot with some water and a heat-proof bowl. But I'm going to be using a microwave. And for the microwave, you don't want to do it too strong at the beginning. You want to do it in small increments. So I'm going to put 30 seconds. I'm going to stir it and then add until my chocolate is well melted. I'm just going to put it now and start. What you want to do between increments is you want to be stirring the chocolate to make sure that it doesn't, first of all, stick to the bottom, but with the stirring, it actually continues to melt the chocolate and continues the process and helps melt it faster because the bottom is actually have more people coming in now, so I'm just admitting them. There you go. Okay. So as you can see, my chocolate is starting to melt. Yum, yum, yum. I want to eat it actually right now, but I'm going to try not to. I don't know if you guys can see already the nice consistency, the nice smell with the coconut oil. I'm going to add a few more seconds. I started with 40 seconds. I'm going to put another 30 seconds. So as you can see, it's so quick, but actually it's going to make the fruit platter much more enhanced and great to actually. So I'm going to prepare a bowl, bring back my fruit platter. My chocolate sauce is ready. Again, 2 ingredients, chocolate and a little bit of coconut oil. I'm going to put my chocolate sauce in my bowl. There you go. So as you can see, if you bring this to the table and you continue adding the fruit kebabs, kids and adults are going to want to eat this. It's going to be very tempting for them to dip the strawberry in the sauce. So there you go. Quick addition to your to Bishvat Seder, and very delicious one as well. Okay, so I'm going to remove this and let's go back to the bulgur. So everybody can see the bowl. So right now I have my bulgur that's has been soaking, I would say about 20 minutes, ready for me to assemble this salad. This one, the recipe is on the website, but I'm going to show you how we prepare it. This is actually what came out of 1.5 cups of bulgur. So if you want to make a smaller quantity, go right ahead, but it's actually quite a fair bit amount of bulgur. I'm just going to get another nice bowl and I'm going to show you how we're going to put this salad together. Okay, so again, I'm going to take a wide bowl because a lot of things are going to go into the salad. So besides the bulgur, we're going to have some, I have some clementine segment. I'm using canned, but feel free to use an orange or a clementine and prepare the segments yourself. Reserve the juice, so always do it in a bowl because you're going to want the juice for the salad. We're also going to be using some grapes or craisins or raisins, and we're also going to be using green onions, mint, and or cilantro or both. And it calls for chopped up salted cashew pieces. I'm not going to use cashew because of an allergy of one of my family member, but I'm going to use another nut. But again, very versatile in terms of what you can do with the salad. So the first thing you want to do is you want to add the bulgur to your bowl. If you have water or liquid remaining in your bowl that you soaked it with, you want to strain it first so that your salad is not too liquidy. In my case, I don't really have practically any liquid left. As you can see, it's actually a very good quantity of bulgur from just 1.5 cups of dried bulgur. And I'm going to bring back my cutting board. And I'm going to be starting by cutting up 4 green onions. So give me a moment. I'm going to get a couple more from the fridge. Everybody can still see my setup, my counter. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so I have my green onions all washed up. All prepped, and I'm going to wash them up now. Okay, so I washed my green onions. I'm going to chop them very small or finely dice them. And then I'm going to add them to the bulgur. And I'm going to add that to the salad. Okay. Then I'm going to add the clementine segments. I'm not going to put the juice of it. I'm going to use some of the juice in the dressing, but I'm just going to put the, and I like to reserve a few for the top so that I can decorate once I mix all the ingredients together. Now, one of our featured ingredient that we're going to be blessing tomorrow for Tu Bishvat is grapes. So instead of using craisins or raisins, I'm actually going to use fresh grape in my salad. I find I love the texture when I bite in it, and it's really beautiful in terms of color. I pre-washed my grapes, and I'm going to actually cut them halfway in the middle like this and adding them to the salad. If you have a grape that's a bit too big, feel free to cut it in 3 pieces, but most of mine I could cut. And then I can cut in half, and then we're gonna use fresh mint. So again, I have some fresh mint that I prepped. Right now, all I'm gonna do is remove the leaves. I don't wanna use the stem. It's a bit coarse compared to like parsley or cilantro. And I'm going to chop it finely. It smells really beautiful when you're cutting into the mint, and complements the clementine and grape flavor so much. It's going to be not only beautiful salad to watch or to look at, but delicious in terms of taste. So I added the mint, I added the green onions, I added the grapes and the clementine, or some of you orange segments, the bulgur, and now I'm going to be preparing my dressing. So for the dressing, you're going to need 1/3 of a cup. You're going to need 1/3 of a cup of fresh orange juice. Because I'm using the can clementine, I'm going to use the juice that's in the can. But you could use fresh orange juice instead. So 1/3 of a cup. Then it calls for 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. And it calls for 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. If I can get it to open. With the sugars, it's a bit stuck. Okay, there we go. So 2 tablespoons of maple syrup. Okay. A little bit of cumin. The recipe calls for 1 tablespoon. I'm going to put a little bit less myself for my recipe because my son-in-law doesn't love that spice. There we go. So 1 tablespoon of cumin. It calls for 1.5 teaspoons of cinnamon. Okay. And it calls for salt and pepper to taste and 1/3 of a cup of olive oil. So I'm going to take again my measuring cup. And I'm going to measure my oil. Nope, that's not my oil. I made a mistake. Give me a second. Again, 1/3 of a cup of olive oil and salt and pepper to taste. I'm putting about 1/2 teaspoon of salt. The bulgur needs a bit of seasoning to enhance it, but you have all the fruits, and I'm going to crack a bit of pepper onto the salad. And that's it. The last little bit that's going to go in the salad is whatever nut you're going to use, whatever roasted nut you're going to use. But it makes quite a fair bit of dressing. So use half of the quantity first to dress it up and then see if you need a little bit more. So I'm going to show you what it looks like when you toss it. It smells so yummy. I wish that through the camera I'd be able to show you how it smells. Like I said, I'm going to add some segments on the top to decorate. There we go. I'm going to put some mint like this. And I'm going to add some roasted pistachios and almond on the top. It calls for cashews or roasted cashews, but whatever you have on hand, feel free to use. It looks and smells beautiful. I'm going to reserve a bit of the sauce and add it when I'm ready to serve tomorrow. But I just want to show you a little bit of the end result. There we go. It's Bulgur salad in honor of Tu Bishvat. So featuring the bulgur and the grapes and a lot of beautiful items. And already just by looking at it, I want to eat it. So I hope that you guys try it because it's really delicious. So now we ended up doing the two kinds of salad, and we ended up doing the fruit kebab and the chocolate sauce. And we're going to finish the presentation with preparing a beautiful board that features a lot of the ingredients that we're going to be blessing onto Bishvat tomorrow when we do our seders in our home. Let me just pin myself. There we go. Can you guys see me now? You can see me? Thumbs up if you can see me. Hi, everybody. So, like I said, in Tu Bishvat or on Tu Bishvat, we are going to bless the 7 fruits and the fruit, the olives, and the wheat and the bulgur that I mentioned at the beginning, but I'm going to repeat them. So we have wheat, barley, olives, dates, grapes, figs, and pomegranate. And I'm going to show you how to display it on a board nicely so that you can bring it to the table and have them on hand for the blessing and the seder. So I'm just going to remove stuff that's on my counter, and I'm going to pin again myself. There we go. So now can you see my surface? Thumbs up if you can see my surface. Yeah, perfect. So we're going to do a couple of boards. We're going to do one with cheese and cracker and vegetables. And we're going to do one with dried fruits. Where's my board? It's right here. Okay. So the way you want to display it is, first of all, like I said, because you eat with your eyes, you want to make sure that it's appealing. Use whatever bowl you have or whatever tray. You can do glass, you can do porcelain. I'm going to do wood, and I'm going to show you how I prep it. So I'm going to be using a lot of the items that I mentioned that are going to be blessed tomorrow night. This board, I think I'm going to concentrate on the crackers and the cheese. And this one, I'm going to do the dried fruit. But you always want to try to have a focal point, and starting with a few bowls is always a good idea. So I'll show you what I do. So the first thing you want to do is sort of have, I'm going to move this so you can see it better. Comment if you want me to be moving something, but here we go. So I've displayed some chocolate covered sort of cookies in one bowl. I also have a little container where I'm going to be putting some jam. So again, feel free to use what you have at home and improvise. It's not something that needs to be perfect, but I always say, again, I'm going to repeat, because you eat with your eyes, it's always nice to bring something nice to the table, and especially on the holiday, nice to have a beautifully set table. Okay, so I have, now if you have kids and allergies, feel free to put whatever is best for your family. But I'm going to be including some chocolates and some crackers and some cheeses to my boards, and you'll see how it comes together. Now, one of the elements that we're going to be blessing tomorrow is the grapes. So I'm going to want that to be sort of what divides my board and what is on in the middle. I'm going to be adding a bit of figs. So do like a little cluster on one side. And I'm going to be, we're also going to be featuring the dates. Now I want to show you something that I do with the dates to actually even more elevated when I'm displaying it. So a lot of you, if you're Moroccan or from Mediterranean countries or descendant, you would have eaten a date filled with nut, or even most of the time it's a walnut. So I cut it in the middle, I take the pit out, and I fill it with nuts. It's even prettier, prettier to eat and to display. Now, again, if there's some nut allergy, omit that step. But if not, it's a great way to have an even more delicious bite by filling it with nuts. And it's really pretty. Now, if you want, you can also put marzipan. You can color it. Feel free to be creative. So again, date is one of our featured item or ingredient in our Seder. So I'm going to put the dates. I'm actually going to put just a few other dried fruits, even if they're not on our list of ingredients, just because I want color and I want texture. So I'm using dried apple and dried craisins. I'm also going to put some dried mango. As you can see, the board is filling up quickly and it's looking really beautiful. Now I'm going to put a little jar of honey on the board. People can actually then take it, put it on their cheese or on the food that I'll be serving as well. Now I'm going to start adding some crackers to my cheese board. But for the crackers, I selected one that has figs and seeds. It's actually a very delicious cracker. I love it because, first of all, figs are one of our items, but also because it's crunchy and delicious with the cheese. I wanted to show you guys the box. Let me just see if I could put my hands on it. Yeah. So again, this one has figs and olives. So two of the items that we are going to have on our Seder. So figs and olives are one of the 7 items. And it's really just a delicious cracker and a great way to feature the items that we're going to eat. The next thing that I want to do is cut up my my cheese. So again, you can mix and match between some fresh fruit and some dried fruits. Now, what I'm going to do on this board is I'm going to feature the other items. So again, we right now have the grapes, we have the figs, we have the dates. So the wheat is in our crackers, the barley is in our salad, and olives. I have a fun way that I like to serve olives. I'm going to serve it 2 ways. I'm going to serve it in a tapenade, so sort of a olive dip. You can do it with green onions or with black olives. This is with Kalamata olives. And I'm going to be displaying this right here. Then I'm going to put actual olives in another bowl. So again, olive is one of our items. We want to make sure that we're going to feature all the 7 species or temanim that we're going to be blessing tomorrow night. So here we go. I have the olive dip and I have, let me move this. I have the olive dip and I have the actual olives. Now I'm going to be preparing some cheese, but as well, I'm going to show you a fun way to dress your board. I bought mini vol au vent, so puff pastry, mini kind of pastry. I'm going to remove, I call it the little hat that's on top, so inside, so that it makes sort of a hollow kind of a space. I'm going to take some flavored herb and garlic cream cheese. Feel free to use goat cheese, spreadable goat cheese, or just regular cream cheese, or even with other flavors. I'm going to put and fill a little bit my cavity with it. Then I'm going to put a little piece of, give me a second. I'm going to put a little piece of lox. I'm going to put that on, and I'm going to cut a tiny piece of chive. As a decoration. And as you can see, everybody's going to be able to just grab. This is actually for the wheat because it's also made with flour. So it's actually another way of showcasing that ingredient. So again, I'm just going to prepare a couple more to show you how it looks. Now, I always like to put back the little hat on top, but again, I'm going to fill it with the flavored cream cheese. Add a little bit of the lox on top. Besides the chive, feel free to add a couple of capers on top if you have or if you like. I happen to love capers, so for tomorrow I can add some capers on top. So because I'm doing a dairy meal, this is a great way to actually fill the table. But even if you're doing meat, you can also put some tofuri or parve cream cheese in it and still do the same. So as you can see, right now on the cheese board, I already have my crackers, my little tomatoes, 2 types of olives, so the tapenade, the dip, and the olive, and filled little tiny vol au vents that I dressed cutely, I find. Now I'm going to do the cheese. So I'm going to cut up a bit of cheddar and a bit of mozzarella just for color. I'm just going to do some little squares and I'm going to line them up in a row like this. Okay. Okay, so there we go. Now again, this is just a smaller board. Again, because we're not too many, because we don't have all of our kids at home and we don't have a guest, I tend to do, smaller quantities so that we can have a little bit of everything. But as you can see, this board has chocolate, jams, dried fruits, and most of the ingredients that we're going to do blessings on. This one has the cheese, some little vol au vents, the olives, and the crackers. So the only thing that I have that's missing is the pomegranate. So let me just, the pomegranates, there's two ways that we can display it. Give me a second. I'm looking for bowls. There they are. So you can or put it already pitted that everybody can just eat with a spoon or add to their salads or to their meal. But you can also cut up pomegranate and do some segments and display it on your board. So whichever one you like, feel free to do that. I'm going to put it on the board right here. Again, I'm going to display some walnuts here. I can add so many things to my board, but I just want to make sure that I have all my 7 ingredients. So again, as you can see right here, I'm going to move some of the things so that you have a better view. Okay, so we have right now, we have the wheat, which is or the vol au vents or the crackers, even the inside of the little chocolate cookies. We have the barley, which is featured in our beautiful roasted vegetable and barley salad, which I'll post the recipe later on. For the wheat, we also have our beautiful Bulgur salad, and this salad is already on the website of the Spanish and Portuguese congregation. Then the second item, so wheat and barley, we have olives, which I said we have the dip, the olive dip or the fresh olives. Then we have the dates, so tamar, you can do them whole or you can stuff them with the walnut like I did. And then you have the grapes, which are here. They're also featured in the Bulgur salad. They're one of the ingredients in there. And the figs, which I have them dried. Now, if it was in season, and I looked a couple of places, but I limit my outings, I wasn't able to find fresh figs, but that's something that if you are able to have in hand would be something beautiful to add. And the pomegranate, like I said, or to display some segments of a fresh whole pomegranate or the seeds that people can actually serve themselves. So as you can see, it's very easy and beautiful to serve on the table. The 7 blessings displayed like this, it's actually going to be more appealing to everybody. It's going to make your table beautiful. Feel free to do several boards. I also, tomorrow night, I'll be adding some goat cheese. This one is flavored with figs. You can put with different types of crackers or sticks. And again, decide if you're going to go the dairy or the meat option and make it fun. Make it fun. Add as well to the table the beautiful fruit kebabs with the chocolate sauce, which I think everybody's going to enjoy. Continue filling the board and making it pretty. And bring in the salads that we prepared at the table, enhance with a fish or with something else. I'm gonna try to put the salads here and show everybody all the beautiful stuff that we prepared. There we go. So we're all ready for Bishvat. There we go. Can I get it in? I got it. So We have our grazing boards, a cheese board, and a dried fruit and fruit board and chocolate. We have our barley salad, our bulgur salad, and we have our fruit kebab with some chocolate sauce. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's Tu Bishvat presentation. I hope you learned some stuff that you're going to try in your home for tomorrow night, or just for the to enhance your Shabbat or your holiday tables. It was so much fun to reunite again with you guys. Our next class is Thursday. Thursday, we're going to continue our 4-part series on soups and sides. This week's soup, just so that I don't make a mistake, this week's soup is a barley soup. Let me just get out the information. So this week we're going to do a barley soup. We're going to do a basil pesto, and we're going to be adding the pesto on the soup, and it's sort of going to be like a minestrone kind of soup, vegetable, and we're going to be making some pita triangles that we're going to be able to eat with the soup. So I hope you guys can join me at 2:00 again on Thursday. I hope you guys join Rabbi Pinto and Kent Benlolo tomorrow night at 7:00 for the Tu Bishvat Seder. Have all of your things ready and able to follow along with the blessings and with the Seder that will be featuring the 7 items. But if you go ahead and prepare what we prepared today, you'll be just great. And I can't wait to see all your faces tomorrow night. And on Thursday, I wish you Chag Sameach. Continue to be safe. Continue to enjoy our event. I love seeing you guys, having you guys with us during those virtual. I know it doesn't replace being together, but right now it's all we have, and I'm grateful for it, because I actually get to have a time during the week where I have some friends and family and loved ones that come up and share, even if it's an hour and a half together. It's time that I know and that I look forward to being reunited with you guys. So I send you love, blessings, all the good stuff. I hope you have a safe and healthy holiday. And until tomorrow, I send you all my love.